Bustin' makes me feel good. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Morty's dog has asked us to play with Boom Bust. This is a sweet card. You destroy target land you control and target land you don't control. Or, if you make it all the way to Bust, you do destroy all lands and you get your Armageddon effect. Now, historically, anybody who is playing Boom Bust is not doing so in a fair way. So we are going to seek to use Boom Bust on our indestructible lands, or alternatively, our lands that will replace themselves. So our goal is to play an aggressive creature early on in the game, and then follow it up with Boom Bust to set our opponent back. And we have some old school favorites here. Well, I don't know, maybe you're not old school. Not yet. Wait a couple years. And then some new school cards, which is really what I had in mind when I said this. Tursa has been generally good in the legacy decks I have tried it in. I have been pretty impressed by it. We'll see how it feels within the context of modern now. So the original deck list I was sent had one swamp in the sideboard, as well as 3 Thoughtseizes afterwards, which stuck out to me like a sore thumb. I get that Thoughtseize is a powerful card and you want some anti-combo tools, but if in Modern you're worried about, say, a Ruby Storm combo deck, the Deafening Silence that can come down on turn 1 theoretically sounds better to me. Outside of this, I have made minimal changes to the sideboard. There was a Pithing Needle in here that I turned into a 3rd unlicensed hearse, because there's a decent amount of like blue-black, Murktide, graveyard-oriented decks running around that I would like to have some game against. So, is what we are going to do going to be a tier 1 modern deck? No, probably not. Will it be really fun to destroy our opponent's lands, especially when they don't have basic lands? Absolutely. So, let's see how competitive this ends up being. Let's try to put a couple of wins on the board today. And folks, if you need your Boom Busts or anything else, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order. If you're going to an upcoming event such as MagicCon Vegas, you can place your order ahead of time, get it shipped to you if you want, or you can just pick it up on site if you want to save the hassle of trying to hunt down cards in a big convention hall. That being said, let's battle. All right, so we have an indestructible land to start off, and we have a boom. So hopefully our opponent plays a land and doesn't just pass the turn with a fetch land available. Oh, friend. I'm not sorry for what I'm about to do. Target land I control. Target land you control. Let's fucking go. Oh, that's great. What a way to start off a fucking video. Ugin's Labyrinth, no card under it. So, let us play a cat. I played my turn wrong. Oops. It cost me 2 life. We're just going to go ahead and kill a cat immediately. Yes. And 0 this. I just want this Planeswalker in play immediately, I think. I could have played Darksteel Citadel to not put myself in this exact same spot here. So I'm just going to make another cat, and then we can consider plussing starting next turn. 18. 3 mana for my opponent now. A Talisman, which I'm going to blow up with Prismatic Ending. Nice. So there's DRC. We will go white and red to take out the Talisman. Ragavan, probably don't need that. Okay, we're just done here. Absolutely disgusting. Moon Man. Let's go. I have some other things that can attack talismans, and I have to decide whether or not that's something that I actually want to do. I don't know the modern version of this deck well enough to know whether Unholy Heat or Lightning Bolt is worse. I guess I can look. So as far as smaller creatures go, Sowing Mycospawn at 3 kind of matters. Withering Chrysalis at 3 kind of matters. It looks like my Lightning Bolts are probably better. Beyond that, do I want more prismatic endings for talismans? That is relevant. I might just keep the lightning bolts, though. They go at face. Morty, we're crushing it, though. Everyone who clicked this video is already happy. Excellent work. My hand is maybe mediocre, but if my opponent leads on a Utopia Sprawl type thing that I just take out on one, the hand's not actually that bad. I don't get to play DRC on turn 1, though. These Rustvale bridges enter tapped. One is going to 5 and reveals a Devourer of Destiny. So they get a little manipulation before this gets going. Sending Temporal Mastery. Wild. Alright, there's a Talisman, so I can take that out on turn 2, meaning I played this on turn 1. Immediate redraw? I already have my turn 2 planned out, otherwise I'm not getting this card back until at least turn 3. You are drawing a Temporal Mastery. Alright. I'll draw a card. My opponent will be able to Miracle Temporal Mastery because of Talisman of Curiosity. This is very strange to me. My opponent will play a Misty and can fetch and potentially just use a Surveil land. Junking Sire of 7 Deaths. If something that size gets into play, I am not equipped to beat it. Okay, there is a Boom Bust. I would kind of like to get this while it is tapped, but I don't think I get to play that game right now. I will blow up my Indestructible Land and this Eldrazi Temple. Feels good. We are getting a spell in response. That is a Kozilek's command, so my opponent is going to get catapulted forward 2 creatures this size, which Prismatic Endings and Lightning Bolts and such don't answer. That's quite bad for me. Play versus draw was massive here. So that's 4, and then 3 spawns will give them Devourer of Destiny. No, it's Soling Mycospawn kicked instead. That is sad. That's going to lead my opponent into this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Taking out the Talisman isn't really enough there. Now we see some of my mana awkwardness as well, where these enter tapped. This is only a 1/1. I don't even want to play it out before the Devourer of Destiny comes down, right? Land drop. Oh, I think I was double counting Devourer of Destiny as being in hand and under this. My bad there. Another Kozilek's command. Now it's just bad for me to play out creatures. They just eat it to Kozilek's command. I have Sorcery, Artifact, could have Land Creature in graveyard if I do some looting with Tersa. I don't think I'm doing that. So I think I'm just going to take out the Talisman and see if my opponent will just draw a card and make some spawns here. And then I can throw down a DRC afterwards. So we'll just try to change phases. And my opponent bites. Sacking both spawns, but they will replace themselves. Yeah, so thinking about this game, it was not only play draw, but it was also that differential of my opponent randomly having a Temporal Mastery on top of their deck to get an extra turn. I don't really know if those are good, but they are doing exactly what my opponent wants them to do this game. Yeah, no. On some boards, EE could clear out a bunch of spawns. I don't really know that that's good. I think I'm just running this back. Ragavan on turn 1. Ragavan on 1, DRC, and Bobble on 2. Probably. Is this better than just things like Magus of the Moon and Land Disruption? Unclear. This is like a fine Magic the Gathering hand. I don't know that it wins this matchup. I'm gonna try to keep it. I think I keep it, but cycle the Bobble on 1 rather than trying to maximize value from it. I will go ahead and shock myself in case we need white. My life total is not super relevant here. Let's see what's going on. There's a Kozilek's command coming. Kozilek's command being early game removal for my shit while being the end game thing that it is. Definitely annoying. Ah, New Ugin and a Talisman. And an Ancient Stirrings. Getting a Misty. So let's send in with Ragavan. Opponent's at 17. I hit a Lorien revealed, which I am not interested in. I was hoping that between draw and this that I would get something kind of nice to do. I will probably just end up bolting my opponent's face to surveil here. That'll guaranteed put 3 different things into graveyard. Because finding a Boom Bust or a Cleansing Wildfire is kind of a big deal right now. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. The land lets me cast one of these. I would like to high roll harder than that. 14. We did not high roll harder than that. And now, since I didn't take the land, I don't get to Season Pyromancer this turn. But what's probably going to happen is that I'm going to lose the Ragavan, and then I will just play another. No, that is not what's happening. Why can't I hit a Sowing Microspawn, huh? So I'll Season Pyromancer. It's for non-land. Let's get rid of the Ragavan for being legendary, and I think I will just junk the land, though. I don't know, I can't cast this without having a land. Alright, let's just get the elementals. That's not the worst. Okay. So there's a lot of power here, and my opponent, in theory, doesn't have the red sweepers like Kozilek's Return that can just take care of all of this at once. They can make a small army of spawns, though. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a land drop, a 7 drop, like Sire of Seven Deaths could come down. And again, my removal that's in this deck doesn't really answer things that are that big. There's the land. That is an Ugin. So I lose out on a creature. This pluses to 9. 2, 4, 5, 6. Hate that. This is 5. Sure. Fuck. Are we going face? Am I just trying to end this through Ugin? I hit my opponent for 6. They're at 6. This pluses to 9. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I am trying to do this through Ugin. This also gives me a Ragavan hit. Ancient Stirrings. So this gets colorless cards. That could be a land. I still Ajani plus Prismatic Ending this with my resources. I'm fine casting this. Hey, a colorless card. Now, see what you're drawing. A new Talisman. Cat. Trigger. Ending. Red and white. Okay. So I get a redraw here. And we'll see if my opponent's dead. The issue is that Ugin doesn't just plus for life, it can also plus for mana here. So it's possible my opponent just does something scary anyway. Ancient Stirrings. Every mana that is not spent on impacting my board right now or casting something big is great for me. But my opponent can still go land drop, Ugin for mana, and big scary thing. That is a Sanctum of Ugin. There's the 3 life. Whenever you cast... Oh no. This has more words on it than I remembered. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't successfully dash Ragavan for bonus damage here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't have a lightning bolt. So I probably need to poke this so it doesn't ultimate. We're hoping for no Kozilek's command here. Base, 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 love tap Ugin, base. Alright, Ugin doesn't ultimate. I hit a Talisman. I could cast that and then Season Pyromancer. And hitting Lightning Bolt would be real cool. Just saying. Hitting Lightning Bolt would be real cool. Trigger? Negative. Don't have the mana to Cleansing Wildfire. We'll just put another Deuter into play. You've got aggro. Brain Surge. Opponent's at 2. That did cost them a life. Temporal Mastery. Fuck. They're at 1. That requires blue. But it's really a lot more than 1 because this Ugin gets to give life. So now we'll see how many things I end up... Oh, fuck. The problem here is the Ugin ultimate now. Oh no. Another Brain Surge. Yeah, so my opponent will just minus Ugin, keep Ugin in play, and then yeet my entire board. I absolutely see where this is going, and I am dead, but I kind of just want to sadistically watch it happen. So, bonus turn. I'm not really upset. This is kind of hilarious. So my opponent has picked 7 cards. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that is a 7/7 First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Lifelink, Ward, pay 7 life creature. My opponent's at 4, so a single Lightning Bolt is not going to be able to kill them. Now we get Sowing Myco Spawn kicked, and the Ugin will trigger as well. This is colorless, despite the fact that it has green in its costs. Ugh, what a beating. But then my opponent can Sowing Myco Spawn kicked again. Take out another one of my lands, another creature, get another mana source in play. This is sweet. I think I have seen enough. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay, I have a Cleansing Wildfire. I don't have an Indestructible Land. I have a DRC and a Bobble. I have enough lands. Do I have enough action? Let's hope yes. My gut feeling is that DRC is just kind of bad in non-blue decks, like based on my heuristics from Legacy. Anytime I play like a red, white, or Mardu deck, I just find that my DRCs don't tend to get the 4th creature type. Hey, Cleansing Wildfire versus Tron. I'm in. Okay. The second one is kind of a big deal, but I'm not going to play it immediately. You go to Yard for a little value, and I will immediately junk this. There's an Ugin coming. So based on last game, we won when we destroyed lands, and we lost when we did not destroy lands. So, let us destroy lands. I don't need that. My opponent can go and search up a new land with their Expedition map. Now, I do have this as a 3/3. That's the good news here. They've gone for a mine, and they are at 17. That's what we know about there. I do have another Cleansing Wildfire, which I guess I will cast post-combat. 14. Drop this. DRC. Take out that mine. Yeah, we'll keep that. That can absolutely stay. Spell Snare. Annoying. So, do you have another piece, naturally? No. That's real sad for me. If I do this main phase 1, I get to Surveil. But I think I would rather have my opponent tapped out when I cast my Land Destruction spell. Because sometimes they just take 6, and sometimes they blow this. Okay, so they are getting rid of that. Alright, goodbye DRCs. Then, yeah, I will play a cat. I'll blow up one of my mountains and your mine. Fantastic. Oh, there was another mine. Stock up. That seems sweet here. Bobble's not really what I want right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and just loop through both of these cards. Yeah, and yeah. Okay. So the fear is now that my opponent just has another Tron piece that they don't have to tutor for, and that they do something scary this turn. Okay, that will get them, Tron. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage this turn. 7, 8, 9 damage this turn. Maybe lethal. So I would like to loot Seasoned Pyromancer into a red land. Red land. Send it. So Tursa Trigger gives me this, but I unfortunately don't have the mana to cast it. This is a you may play that card this turn, not a you may play it without its mana cost. Right, so it still costs the 6. Now Urza's Cave is going to turn into the power plant to complete Tron. And we'll see how crazy my opponent goes this turn. I don't care if they sweep my board. This is Graveyard Hate? What is this? Yeah, okay. So my opponent will Ugin me. and nuke everybody, and then I will lightning bolt their face. Assuming there is no counter spell here, we've got this. Dink. It's Force of Negation! Wow, that's unfortunate. I assumed that doing it on my turn to not let them untap with a bunch of mana was correct. I was fucking wrong. They could have hard cast Force of Negation, filtering the mana through this. No, so what I did was correct. Wow, that's unfortunate though. I think I'm losing game 1 to Tron after blowing up 2 of their lands and attempting to blow up more of them beyond that. Oh, Mistrise Village. Very cool. 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. I mean, I'm in. I guess let's go to your upkeep and then I'll cast it. Goodbye, Ugin. Nice. So now I have some elemental. Fuck. Some elementals coming. This Ugin is just going to overpower my ability to close out this game, I think. So I will play whatever I cast, but 3 life a turn and the ability to just exile if they draw any colorless spells, I think means that I'm not clawing out from under this. There's 3 life. There's filtering into blue. Seagate Restoration. Actually cast as a spell. So now my opponent has no maximum hand size. And yikes. So I can blow up a land here, but I think we can go ahead and tap out. We've seen how this goes. Magus of the Moon. Get in here. Prismatic Ending can technically exile some things like map. It's not super exciting. I think I'm just gonna not with that. And then trim an Unholy Heat. It can absolutely help out with Ugin. I think Lightning Bolt going to face to close the game early matters more. I do not, very much not, have inevitability in this matchup. This is fine. Magus of the Moon, in theory, will be castable on turn 2. If Ragavan actually connects, which I think it's pretty likely to. So let's take our redraw. Stock up coming. Sure. There's Ragavan. Subtlety. What the fuck is Portent of Calamity? Where is this card? Oh, that's too many words. Reveal top X of your library. For each card type, exile a card. Put the rest in your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost if you exiled 4 or more cards this way. Oh, that's kind of fucked up in a big mana deck. Okay. That'll go on bottom. I now don't want to draw that. I've redrawn another Bauble. I don't think I like Bauble in this deck. Okay. So you surveil, you go to graveyard. Then let's Bauble myself here. I would like to draw that. I think I would like to draw that. So that means let's just Sacred Foundry tapped this turn. The next turn I'll Magus, and I will have the Boom Bust as a backup plan or a way to destroy a land afterwards. Alright, we have found another Bauble. Let's cast that. Awkward. Send it to graveyard. I think because of my fetch land here, I actually just did that timing wrong. I think I fetch first and then play Bauble. So there's the Magus. This doesn't eat Force of Negation. Opponent gets a basic island. You're going to draw a power plant. So now I can potentially just blow up the basic island that you get with Boom Bust. So hopefully you tap out for stock up here, and then I destroy that island. That's the plan. I will blow up my fetch land and your island. Surveil. Don't need Bolt yet. We're not in finishing range. Throw down some cats. I am going to be attacking for 5 here, which is pretty respectable. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this stuff. I think I will remember this. More other Magus. I am in. Now a single removal spell isn't doing me in. My opponent is dead on board, assuming I get to turn all my creatures sideways again. And we do. Now I've got the game where I'm on the draw, which is harder. I could do something like Prismatic Ending when I am on the draw to try to get map. I might need to do that. Like, my games on the draw are really, really scary because my opponent can assemble Tron before Magus comes down a lot of the time. Yeah, I am in for this. There is a mine. There is a map. Everything is going according to plan. So, Prismatic Ending this away. I really don't like it when modern decks get to defend their stuff for free. In Legacy, it feels like this is fine. The modern decks doing it feels like cheating. So, let's start doing this stuff. That's a Spell Snare. It means my opponent's not tutoring, but I am also not, like, attacking while I am disrupting here. There's the map. Finding Power Plant. There's another map. Yikes. So I could dash Ragavan, deal 2, and then Cleansing Wildfire. Or I could just Cleansing Wildfire and play out Ragavan, so Ragavan is persistent. I think I'm into persistent Ragavan. What did I blow up already? Nothing, because it got countered. Alright. Blow up a land. Oh my god. Yeah. Fetch. I don't know that the 2 life matters here. I guess the upside is that my opponent is hellbent as of the time that they do that. So hopefully they just have nothing to do this turn. Did you just fucking top deck stock up? Portent of Calamity. Blast Zone, Eye of Ugin, Force of Negation. They choose Blast Zone. What's the wording? May cast a spell. Then put the rest of the exiled cards into your hand? What the fuck? Wow. That card is incredibly good here. Send it. 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not there. Let's Cleansing Wildfire. Take out a land. Hopefully draw into something relevant. Nope. I'll take a redraw. There's a Power Plant coming. I'll pass. How many card types? I have 3 card types. Unholy Heat isn't even online yet. Prismatic Ending not super relevant here. Blast Zone can take out my Ragavan, so I don't deal additional damage with it. We'll see if that happens immediately this turn. No. Spell Snare. Not what I am looking for. Tokens? I guess we can go red, and red here, leave the white available. Always get rid of this. Maybe I keep the Unholy Heat to finish off a Planeswalker and just loot through the land. Oh shit, I'm in. Please? My opponent will still have an island. Alright, it's in play. No play on my opponent's turn. That's nice, I suppose. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Send it. Ragavan. Yeah. Yeah. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm in. X is 5. There's a Dismember in response. Can you now counterspell me with Force of Negation? Yes. Okay. So I have 5 damage on board, but that's not actually going to be lethal because of Blast Zone. What is this? 6 mana. It is a Portent of Calamity. Tower, mine, stock up, island. Opponent concedes. They did not hit a big scary thing. We put a win on the board here, but that was scary. So this hand is very good against a certain type of deck. If our opponent is going to sit down and play a bunch of small creatures, I will eat them alive. If they are any other sort of deck, I am probably going to die. So, let's find out. What do you got over there? Mutagenic Growth. That means small creatures. I am going to try to do Sacred Foundry tapped here. That means I'm dropping Unholy Heat for turn 1. I think that's fine. I think if a Mentor comes down, I take most of the... Or sorry, not Mentor. If a Swift Spear comes down, I only take 1 or 2 points of damage on turn 1. That's a DRC. That's fine. Sure. Lava Dart to Graveyard. So we're going to need to keep that in mind for later. An opponent's not cracking the bobble yet. Now they are. So let's go ahead and ending this sucker. And I will leave up Unholy Heat for this turn. Although we know that our opponent has a mutagenic growth, so slightly awkward there. Slick Shot Show Off is going to hang out. It is plotted. Don't think I am into trying to do that here. I think I'm going to do this tapped and pass the turn. Very, very far away from Delirium. There is a Swift Spear. I can maybe Unholy Heat that. Slick Shot in play. So if I Unholy Heat something, my opponent uses mutagenic growth and saves it. So that just resolves. There's a Bobble. Boy, this is going to be so much damage. So cycle. So this is 7 incoming damage, which I'm just going to take. I'm at 12. Now, at end of turn, I will attempt to Unholy Heat this. And this way, if my opponent mutagenic growths, it does not add 4 damage to the combat. Or sorry, 5 damage to the combat. Yes. Alright, so now 3 cards remaining. Ridge. Flage? I can Flage and Prismatic Ending, actually. So we will Flage, attempt to kill the Slick Shot Show Off, and then Prismatic Ending away Swift Spear. That is 4 of 5 cards in graveyard to bring Flage back. I don't have another one. I mean, that's bad too, but that's bad slightly more slowly. There's a DRC. Oh, which my opponent can't cast. Am I just looting through both of my cards? I don't think so. Blowing up this land is kind of a big deal if my opponent has more mana things. Alright. I'll blow up my indestructible land and your steam vents, and then next turn I can Flage. It's kind of crazy to me that I have cast 1, 2, 3, 4 removal spells, and I'm still very afraid, and my opponent still has a fistful of cards. This is a well-built deck. Okay, it appears that they are just conceding to Flage here, which is great for us. So I would like any extra removal that I can put into my deck, even if it's not particularly efficient. And despite the fact that Boom Bust probably won me that game, I probably go down on this effect. Then I can think about this. This makes my Lightning Bolts and Unholy Heats slightly more effective. This makes my opponent's pseudo combo turns worse. I think it's better than Boom Bust. And if we just ignore the land destruction side of the deck because my opponent's deck is so fast here, I look like this. Unfortunately, I have 1 Flage, so I was pretty lucky to get it that game. Flage, you're fucking goated with the sauce, my dude. Good job. This does not have the removal that I would really like from my hand, but since I have my Singleton Flage, I think I'm going to keep it and assume that I will draw removal. So, you've got a dude. I can't play that untapped on turn 1, unfortunately. Is this important enough that I play my ETB tapped land? I think no. Not this turn. I think I need to threaten a block this turn. This potentially blows something like a mutagenic growth or a lightning bolt or whatever. But we've got blue mana. It's a Quarry Steelcutter. Did I need to bring in Meltdown in addition to Prismatic Ending? Alright, no attack. Untapped white land is very good there. Now my opponent never casts their second spell. Love that. Let's get this in here. This is absolutely worth 2 life, and I think I hyper-aggressively send cards to the graveyard. Yeah, you go to yard. You're a great draw. You're also just Flage food, though. Send it? I think send it. 18. But now the biggest thing Quarry Steelcutter does is just manually get equipped. So EI gets a lot worse with Deafening Silence in play, but as a reminder, this is non-creature. So my opponent could theoretically still make their land drop with EI or still cast a 1-drop creature. There's a DRC. My opponents aren't 3/3s yet. That's good for me. So this does let my opponent do the Quarry Steelcutter thing, since they did cast a creature. So I will take 2. Surgical Extraction on Prismatic Ending. That's kind of wild. Like, I have Flage in my hand and I am about to cast it this turn. It does take a card out of my graveyard for Flage. Like, that is absolutely relevant. I guess, am I actually about to cast Flage, or would I rather dash Ragavan here? Maybe I would rather dash Ragavan. Yeah, I would rather dash Ragavan here. Found it. I am okay trading with these. Any cards my opponent puts in my graveyard help my Flage come back. This is a very weird spot. So, like, as soon as a creature hits the graveyard, one of these is a 3/3. So my opponent might block, trade with the Ragavan, turn this one into a 3/3. Then I will just get the ETB tapped land out of play here. So now this has to attack. That is a slick shot show off. My opponent is able to cast creature and non-creature for Corey Steelcutter. I take so much damage here. Just not growing my graveyard fast enough for Flage, despite having 2 DRCs in play. So I would like to do this post-combat. I think I don't attack. Post-combat, Deafening Silence. Just ship cards in there aggressively. Yeah, just aggressively. Make land drop. Play Flage. And this is 3 card types, unfortunately. I'm going to get rid of the thing that currently tramples. I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I go here. Maybe I have to take out one of the flyers. I can double block that to save 2 points of life. I still can't even bring Flage back next turn. So I don't think it ends up mattering. Like, I think I am very likely just dead. Even my opponent just moving Corey Steelcutter here and attacking me for 5 is bad enough. Okay, on the ground. Sure. Land drop. I mean, show me what you got. Nada. This is still very bad, though. I can now bring Flage back, though. So I can, in theory, bring Flage back and kill one of these 2. I will be at 8. Red, red. White, white. Leave a creature in yard. I will Flage. So now, what do I remove? This scales up harder, but not in the face of Deafening Silence. I think I just remove the 3/3. See if my opponent has a mutagenic growth. They do not. I think I save the individual points of life here. Just play that tapped. There's a new DRC. Mutagenic growth. When it gets their Corey Steelcutter value. Mutagenic growth was probably the draw for turn. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. Oh, my opponent missed lethal. They moved, because this gives haste, right? Yeah, there's lethal that my opponent just missed. Nice. Very, very easily could still die anyway. So, yeah. Combat. Send it. Take out DRC. Gain some life. Opponent goes to 2. Then I will Unholy Heat the flyer. Right? Or do I just wait until my opponent puts a non-creature spell on the stack? Do I just wait until they put a non-creature spell on the stack? They won't be able to respond due to Deafening Silence. That's a Swift Spear. So I block the most by blocking right here. And then if my opponent puts a non-creature spell on the stack, I Unholy Heat in response. I am dead if I let this through and my opponent's last card is exactly Lightning Bolt. But otherwise, any other instant or sorcery that increases damage I have covered. 3. Is it Lightning Bolt? It is not Lightning Bolt. GG's. All right. Opening hand doesn't really have a game plan. I'm just going to mulligan this one. Believe. Get rid of Unholy Heat. We are on the draw. We have a redraw. And I have a couple of draw steps to hit a land. I'm not super thrilled about this. But I think I am keeping it. Alright, where are my land destruction spells? Donde está? The tapped land. Big deal. Really, really, really big deal here. Alright, we are playing against a red version of the Eldrazi deck this time. That is a lot of big mana in this league. Okay, I did hit another land drop. That's fantastic. Unfortunately, my opponent has a 2-in-1 sweeper that is going to be very, very good against my deck. Another Utopia Sprawl, and up to 3 mana, or a draw 2. But it doesn't get to stay around. I don't really want Unholy Heat right now. We'll take out one of these. I'm going to leave this one. If I end up drawing a land destruction spell, I think it's slightly more valuable to blow up Breeding Pool in game 1. Commercial District. Junking a land, so my opponent's doing fine on the mana front. I think I need to loot through some bad cards here. I need to find some land destruction stuff before my opponent gets to their end game. We're going to loot through the things that aren't bodies, and I'll bash in for 3. Send it. This is 2 initial damage, so this is fine as an aggressive threat. The rest of the stuff I have is not perhaps ideal. Sanctum of Ugin on board. 7 for this, right? Yeah. Alright. Send this in. Opponent is at 11. I am just confirming I don't have a Surveil land in this deck. I do not. I'm playing enough other ETB tapped lands where that doesn't really make sense. I'm going to play one of these and potentially trade with Kozilek's Command. Otherwise, I deal 3 damage with it next turn, which is also fine. Yeah. So note that previously I could have kept Enajani and a Lightning Bolt to attempt to junk my cat token in response to this Kozilek's return happening. And that's another way to play it. To try to get the Planeswalker. Because that's better against this getting flashbacked. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 mana. So this starts happening. And that is an exile, not a destroy, so I don't get my land replaced there. Opponent's got an Eldrazi Temple now. I'll just ever so marginally thin the deck here. That's not what I want. Now I can either attempt to trade or not. I think I am attempting to trade. I fucked up. This is exactly 6 cards in graveyard, so fetch land gets me to 7. Oh, that's a massive punt. Oh, that was so bad on my end. All right, opponent trades. I am going to play my worst threat here for the sake of this. Yeah, so that fuck up was really bad because I can potentially hit Unholy Heat or Lightning Bolt on attack and still have a Tursa on board. I think it doesn't matter. I think if my opponent casts a 7-drop or above, I end up just losing the game. But I had a strictly better line that I did not take. Yeah, so I don't answer cards that look like this. So now my opponent wipes this. They are at 11. They can tutor up another large creature. They're just going to get another one. I think I'll tap out here. I'm not beating that. So in comes Magus of the Moon. In comes Prismatic Endings for Talisman. I am not in love with the Unholy Heats and Lightning Bolts of the world. I think that's the stuff that's going down. Now I have Wildfire's Magus, Prismatic Endings, Boom Busts as cards that interact with my opponent's mana, and then 21 threats. Okay. So I have multiple Cleansing Wildfires here. I think that means that the hand is a keep. Ideally, my opponent enchants a land, and I use Cleansing Wildfire as something that actually gets ahead. Or alternatively, they put a card under, what is it, Sanctum of Ugin? Yeah. Darksteel Citadel as the draw. I can just Cleansing Wildfire my own land here. I might do that. I will get another land and just draw a card. That's a fine draw. Now next turn I have Dash Ragavan and hopefully Cleansing Wildfire a relevant land. Yeah, that's fine. There's a Malevolent Rumble. Ugh, this just waiting in graveyard. Rough. So my opponent is putting a Utopia Sprawl into hand. Let's see what they're drawing. Yeah. Power of Destiny. I'm fine with them drawing that. Okay. So let's go. Tersa. Loot through both Seasoned Pyromancers for graveyard-oriented value. This has haste. Opponent goes to 17. I will drop a Ragavan. Then hopefully my opponent uses mana to cast the Utopia Sprawl, and then I get rid of it with Cleansing Wildfire. There's Forest. There's Utopia Sprawl. And I guess it getting played on Forest is particularly good for me, because I could blow that up and then potentially Magus of the Moon later. Writhing Chrysalis. You sack and get bigger. Whenever you sacrifice another Eldrazi, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Annoying. So let's take that out. I'm light on removal for Writhing Chrysalis. There was another forest. Yeah, my opponent can just sack spawns, and then this is just bigger than both of my threats. So let's see, I guess, what I'm drawing. Bobble. Ugh. This stabilizing the board is a disaster. I think we're going to try to get value. I'm going to try to take some spawns off the board here to set my opponent back on mana. Because then if they lose one spawn, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can't innately cast a 7-drop immediately. Yeah. And then sometimes my opponent doesn't block out of fear of a combat trick or whatever. Now, post-combat, I play another creature, and this was legendary. So this card was otherwise just stuck in my hand. We loot through 2. I know that I have a Bobble that I can cast immediately. And we'll do so. Malevolent Rumble is good. This is fucking unbeatable. I guess the Moon is a good pickup. Prismatic Ending doesn't answer Writhing Chrysalis. Sowing Mycospawn, growing Writhing Chrysalis. Now my Prismatic Endings are not answering either one of these. I lose a land. I get bogged too. That's super relevant with Terza having 10 cards in graveyard there. An opponent's just going to hold back. They know that they win this game if the game goes long. Well, I mean, I've got one play. I'm going to take it. My opponent still has green mana. They'll lose colorless mana. But they can just shift to being the beatdown. Like, they have a 5/6. I don't. I also just don't have access to white mana anymore. My deck is pretty close to mono red. Malevolent Rumble. Oh, fuck. Malevolent Rumble is going to give my opponent a guaranteed colorless mana. There's another colorless mana if they want it. It's also a green and a blue mana as well. Ugh. And they do take the Talisman. And I can't Prismatic Ending it because I don't have white mana. Throwing Mycospawn, specifically exiling my land. Really big deal. Alright, opponent not attacking. Dead? Feels like dead. There's Gemstone Caverns as a land drop. My opponent has colorless, and green, and blue all available. Whatever big bomb they have, it's happening this turn. And then I will right-click and concede. Okay, my opponent has turned into the beatdown. What I think that means is that my opponent is about to cast a big scary spell that is going to kill their creatures anyway. So I think I just put everything in front of the Chrysalis, try to take this out of play, and then deal with only one large card. This could be a 6/7. Show me what you got. My Ragavan is not dead. At least not yet. Utopia Sprawl. A new Sowing Mycospawn. I'll lose another land. And then there's Devourer of Destinies. That can take out my Ragavan. Sanctum of Ugin triggers. And if memory serves, this is a May. Which is rough for me, so my opponent can just leave that in the graveyard and then be able to wipe whatever I play next. That is not gonna do it. GG's. It does not bode well for the Land Destruction deck if we are not beating the land-based ramp decks. My opponent has revealed Karuga the Macro Sage. Don't know what that means in this format. It means these cards probably aren't great. I can loot them away with Terza. I'm going to hope that just Ajani into Terza is aggressive enough to do something relevant versus whatever it is my opponent is doing. Oh god. I guess that's how you catch up from taking the first couple of turns off. Makes sense. Are we Jeskai control? Oh, I see. Ice, fire ice kind of cheats the mana requirements. Okay. I mean, that's incredibly good. That throws me off curve and lets my opponent get to 3 mana where they can start casting cards. That's a really big deal. I am into playing 2 different spells this turn, I think. It's awkward because stuff like this can happen, though. Let's play the cat. It is in play at the very least. Let's see what my opponent's cooking over there. Oh, we've got more colors. Okay, so we are going to be a 4 to 5 color control leyline binding deck. Got it. Oh, that's a very good fire. It will turn this into a Planeswalker, which seems good for me, but I imagine that means my opponent just answers this in some way. Flage. Okay. I only have one card type in my graveyard right now. I mean, what am I going to do? Not blow up my opponent's land? Flagstones or Darksteel Citadel, or does it matter? I can turn this into a dual land. I guess let's do that. We'll take out the Lush Portico here. Yes. Sacred Foundry. Pass turn. That knocks my opponent off of 2 different colors for Leyline Binding style cards. Nice. See what you're drawing. Breeding Pool. Got it. Tersa is coming out to play. I have 4 card types in graveyard. Prismatic Ending, probably not a great card, generally speaking here. Although I guess my opponent could have... Maybe I need to keep this around to permanently exile a Flage. I go through the Unholy Heats. They can't go to face. I don't know, maybe Lightning Bolt going to face doesn't matter. Alright, more Bauble. So I'm going to put another Bauble in graveyard. Then I will have a 2 in 8 chance at exiling a Bauble. No! On attack. Alright. So now I have 3 removal spells. I get 2 redraws, though. Land? Okay, that's fine. That's more looting. That's quite good. Rain Surge. Actually, Prismatic Ending doesn't exile Flage. I don't have 3 different colors. JK. So let's get rid of Prismatic Ending then. And 1 land. Gosh. Top of my deck is quite bad right now. I need threats and land destruction. Both are fine. I prefer that Seasoned Pyromancer die rather than get exiled. Yes. I've got stuff for this. I was just bouncing a land. Sure. That's great. So let's go to combat. Let's attempt to love tap the Planeswalker without using any extra resources. Cool. Now, we'll play a cat. And if my opponent does something like try to remove this, I can use an Unholy Heat or a Lightning Bolt to transform it into the Planeswalker. That resolves. Yes. Another land drop. Now I don't get to play at instant speed, unfortunately. Bust is 6 mana. Just throwing it out there. I am at 5. Base. Base. Teferi. Teferi is dead. Drop this. I think I am saving for bust. Then my opponent can fetch and surveil. No, they're just going to get colors. That is another basic. So they have basics despite the fact that they are a multicolored deck. Wow. That's kind of wild. I guess we will go ahead and Unholy Heat that and Lightning Bolt that. And then hope to draw a land. Negative. Send it. 9. I still have Flage covered with the other Unholy Heat. I think we are waiting for Armageddon. There's yet another land drop. There's the Flage. I probably lose my cat here. I do. Opponent goes up to 12. And we're going to attempt to answer Flage and then hopefully Armageddon. Land. That's not what I want. So this brings my opponent to 9. I think I have to just boom and blow up lands that cast Flage now. I might need to blow up another one and give up on the dream here, which I am very sad about. But I think this game is very close to me just finishing off my opponent here. Like 2 turns of combat does it. And I think I want to put strain on my opponent's mana base. Like they need an untapped white land specifically to Flage again. Do they have it? Fuck, they do. 2 short of lethal. Yes. Neither one of these like blocks and trades with Flage or attacks into Flage profitably. I could Lightning Bolt this to stop my opponent from getting the life. I don't think that makes sense. So now we have to try to do a very awkward dance here, where I try to get rid of this and present lethal. I don't have enough creatures that the backside ability ends up just killing Flage. I think my opponent attacks. They target the trigger at this Cat Warrior token. Then I believe that I Lightning Bolt. Oh, wait, why did I fucking do that? That was fucking dumb. I got lost in the sauce. Okay. Whatever I was going to do wasn't going to work anyway. Yeah, so my opponent was going to do that, put the trigger on the stack, and then kill that. What else is happening here? A Solitude on top of that. That's real bad. I think my opponent has stabilized. I win this game if I draw that 6th land, and I just did not. Now my opponent is gaining 6 per turn cycle and hasn't used Karuga yet. We just have so many bad game 1 cards against this deck. I have very good post-sideboard cards against them, though. That's the good news. So Endings get out of here, Lightning Bolts get out of here, and I'm going to trim an Unholy Heat. I probably need to leave a couple removal spells in the deck for Solitudes and Lages. My hand does not produce red mana. I think that means it is an auto mulligan, unfortunately. My deck is very close to mono red. This is fine. We'll get rid of the Unholy Heat here. And I will cast this at some point. I am going to get my aggressive card going. I am very much the beatdown in this matchup. My opponent's endgame is very good, and my endgame consists of only the card Bust. So, Bobble, trigger, Lensing Wildfire. I think I just want a sorcery in graveyard right now. Like, I know my opponent has multiple basic lands. I'm not going to use that yet. Let's go ahead and shock. Play a Hearse, Surveil again. Mountain absolutely goes to graveyard. Get a little love tap for 1, and we'll pass the turn. Opponent can fetch and maybe Surveil. Yes. Now that they've done that, we'll use Bobble. Saying no to Leyline Binding. And Supreme Verdict is coming. Seems good for my opponent. Redraw of Season Pyromancer is okay. Mountain? Rough. Yeah. I don't have flying yet. We will eat some things with Unlicensed Hearse. Another Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. We will boom and take out the thing that produces multiple different colors here. And then next turn I can play Seasoned Pyromancer and start attacking with the Hearse potentially. 4/4 attacker is pretty good. Pyromancer. I think I will just loot through both. I mean, Magus is fine here. Magus makes Supreme Verdict pretty much uncastable. Do I care about attacking for 4? Probably fine. But I don't need to be hyper aggressive about attacking with this every single opportunity in the history of ever. 14. So my opponent is going to be incentivized to fetch multicolor lands to work towards Supreme Verdict, which is very useful for my whole Magus of the Moon situation that I've got going on here. My opponent did show us Rough, so they will have outs to Magus of the Moon. Another basic. Clarion Conqueror. Sure. So this is off in the short term. I'm not attacking into that 3/3 body right now. Oh fuck, my artifact lands. Oh no. This is also an artifact land. What a disaster, actually. Okay. My opponent might have a small window to do cool things while I stumble around and look for another land. Flage is very good. Its Unlicensed Hearse is currently not online. Yeah, no, makes sense. 15. And a tapped Breeding Pool. Okay, I mean, that's at least an untapped land. So now I make my opponent's mana worse and crash in. 15. And we can start trying to go wide of a single blocker. Just gone immediately. I will take 3. Yep. Karuga? No, it is a Teferi. Sure. Opponent just pluses. Yes. I can't reasonably cast this, though. I get this fucking Clarion Conqueror out of play. Do I want to blow up 1 land now, or attempt to draw one of about 4 cards that answer Clarion Conqueror and then try to take them all. I think I take the 1 land now. Keep attacking my opponent's white mana. And I guess love tap to Teferi. The loyalty is never actually going down here, because my opponent can just +1 every turn. I almost certainly win this game without the Clarion Conqueror turning off my lands and unlicensed hearse. What a absolute beating. And because these are artifact lands, I can't get my like bonus value over here. Like I can't crew this. Everything is bad. I have things like Tersa that I can draw that could like get haste and do good things. Risen Reef. So this can double up my opponent's elemental triggers for things like Solitudes. Alright, I'm at 6 from just this fucking dragon hitting me. I'm punished for not playing out one of these tapped lands. Alright, take out Clarion Conqueror. So now my mana is online. I wish I could be making the extra tokens this turn, because that would let me crew this and attack. I think I am now playing out one of these that I hold back. My life points are more valuable than theirs right now. I don't need to eat Flage from Yard immediately, but I will be doing that. My opponent does not have white mana. Yes. Oh boy. Yeah. So now these trigger each other. This is just a look, right? Yeah. Okay. So since it didn't hit, that was actually favorable for me. Yes. Don't have enough to crew that. That's crew 2. I'm at 5. Then let's eat Flage and some card from Graveyard. If nothing else, I can make some tokens this turn. I will make some tokens this turn. Is this hold on, is this instant speed? Yes, this is instant speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could do them now and attack with a large creature. I don't know that that makes sense. I also think I am going to make land drops, because sometimes I want to have 7 mana next turn, or even like 8 mana. Oh god. Yeah. This is a disaster. So there's landfall. Then this ability happens again. And my opponent draws a card. Fairy pluses for flash, although that's really just plussing for loyalty. My opponent did not walk into the onboard trick, unfortunately for me. So we'll make some tokens and then eat some stuff from my opponent's graveyard. This is a large creature, but I am very much not on offense right now. Oh, that's not what I want to see. So this Teferi being able to minus and bounce my unlicensed hearse is kind of a big deal. Opponent just has 7 cards as well. Does the third ability do damage? Yeah, not great. So I'm going to turn this into a creature. I've got an 8/8. I'm going to use this to destroy 1 permanent of my opponent's choosing. I think if I let both... Oh my god. So this now triggers the Risen Reefs. What a disaster. I think this means that I'm not necessarily dead in the short term, but now I just don't really win. I'll hold these lands in case I Armageddon or something. My cards just did not come up at the right time in this matchup. Like, we win that other game if we draw the 6th land for Boom Bust. The Clarion Conqueror, if I remove that earlier, I think I handily win this game. Alright, Seasoned Pyromancer. Do it again. My opponent willingly attacked into this, so that's a fire to kill 2 of these. Okay, I think I have had enough here. I think my opponent's got this one. GG's. We managed to put 2 wins on the board this league, and we're close on a few others. Alright. Overall thoughts on the deck list here. Not bad. Not particularly good either, though. I think my problem is that we're not super consistent. This is an incredibly high variance deck, and there's not much that can be done to fix that. So this is a deck that, like Flage was very good in when it worked, but I feel like my graveyard was super strained throughout this league. We weren't getting to Delirium for DRC, so trying to get to Delirium while also playing, say, 4 Flages wouldn't really work. The numbers feel weird, like 3 Ragavan is super weird. Like, Ragavan is, in theory, the sort of thing I want to do. Turn 1 Ragavan, accelerate, and then start blowing up my opponent's lands. Most of my opponents had at least one basic land, so cleansing Wildfire was not just innate destroy target land, and using it on our own lands to ramp, while fine, we don't have a lot to ramp into. We don't have bigger stuff here. The prismatic endings weren't particularly good as removal, with only 2 colors and some of my lands being colorless. The lightning bolts and unholy heats weren't destroying some things that my opponent had, and or I did not have delirium for unholy heat. Seasoned Pyromancer is perhaps not an impressive Magic the Gathering card. Like, I was most interested in its looting ability. Maybe that just means more Terza, despite the fact that it's a legendary creature. Unsure. These are kind of where my thoughts are. The Deafening Silences that I added were theoretically good, but a lot of the white sources ETB tapped because of the Rustveil bridge. Maybe that doesn't actually work out. Maybe the deck still needs Surveil lands, despite the fact that it has so many other ETB tapped lands that are a little awkward. So I think you are on the right track in terms of starting to build something, but I think there is a lot of work here to kind of tune this and get it to the point where it is going to be consistent. We did have the DRC Delirium problem that I expected from this deck. I'm not sure how you fix that without adding another color, which is perhaps something that you don't want to do. All right, I think I'm going to call it a day here, folks. Remember, if you need some cards, you know where to go. If you have any thoughts about the deck, throw them down in the comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!